Give it a second.
This week on the OneCast, episode 100, we're going to talk about our last 2 years of recordings, just chat fishing.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's going to be a bad day.
What's going on, folks? This is the most awkward show that we've done because Pete and Ben are actually at their houses right now, and I'm chilling out here in the studio and sitting in the chair that I'm not supposed to be sitting in. It's really awkward, but it doesn't matter. We're going to break down our last couple years and specifically this last year of doing this show for you guys, and it's been a wild ride. But before we jump into that, head on over to OneCastFishing.com and use the code TheOneCast. Get your hands on all the things that he has to offer, from the snagless jigs to the weedless nets, the soft plastics, the apparel, all those good things. You guys are going to save some money by using that code, TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout, and support OneCast Fishing, who has been along the ride since day one. Where else do they need to go?
Yeah, they can head over to CarolinaWatersNC.com, use the code TheOneCast to check out, all one word. You can grab your just casual t-shirt wear. You can grab your performance gear, hoodies, hats, gloves, all of your sun protection items. Christmas is coming up. If you didn't get in on the Black Friday sale, shame on you. You missed out on some good deals, but you can still head over there and use our code and save some money. And they might still have some sales going on. So make sure you head over to CarolinaWatersNC.com, use code TheOneCast, all one word, at checkout to save some change. And from there, go to the link in our description for Hobie Eyewear. We've been with Hobie now for almost a year. We've used them for longer than that, but officially partnered with them for coming up on a year, and it's been great, man. The glasses are awesome. They performed well, high quality, affordable. I don't have enough good things to say about them. We've had a few incidents with flying off our head at high rates of speeds when we get ejected from Elite Series anglers boats, and taking tungsten to the eye, cracking lenses. And they've always been right there to take care of us. And that's not just because we're partnered with them. They treat everybody that way. Customer service is second to none, in my opinion. And I'm sure if you talk to anybody, they'll agree. So make sure you use that link in the description below. That's how you get to save that money. Takes those glasses down to like $85 or $87 a pair. Make sure you head there and grab you some Hobie eyewear. Who else they need to check out, Ben?
And then they need to go on their app store or Play app or whatever Google calls it and download the Deep Dive app. I'm actually, been planning the last couple of days because I plan on taking a trip down to Florida come January and February. So I'm already scouting around on the Deep Dive app, looking at headwaters, looking at Toho, the Yosemite chain, looking at just obviously wind effects, and doesn't really play an important role right now because it's like 3 months out. But at the same time, I'm looking at areas that they identify as good, baits. And I'm just really able to start planning that trip out using the Deep Dive app. And of course, when I'm on the water, I'm able to make adjustments based upon their recommendations. So I know Pete and Trey had used it for a lot of success earlier in the year. I'm sure you guys will be using it at some point next year for the national championship for our Fishers of Men. But it's a great tool, and everyone needs to go over and download the app. If you haven't used it before, they've got a free trial there for 7 days. So recommend you downloading that right before your fishing trip, but it's definitely worth the features are there are definitely worth the payment there for if you purchase it for a year.
Yeah, it's really like 10 bags of soft plastics is what you're going to pay for that annual subscription, depending on what soft plastics you buy. But a couple weeks ago, I kind of got Seth Ellis, who fishes MPFL, a little interested in that. We were out on Lake Gaston, and we were going after. The cool thing about the app too is it gives you the ability to target specific species, right? So you can click on there for like the best areas of the lake, and you can look at, hey, you're going to target largemouth, spotted bass, smallmouth, or whatever the case may be. And we use that app and switch it over to spotted bass, which we were targeting, and we ran the exact water that the Deep Dive app said, hey, this is probably the most high percentage area of the lake. And it couldn't be, it was not, it was 100% on when it came to the best area of the lake, and we ended up sacking them about 18 and a half pounds worth of spotted bass. So, it's a great app, and I think we're going to get more and more people interested in it, especially, not like guys that, you're so focused on like boat technology and stuff like that. Hey, don't forget, like, this little app right here can help you break down an entire lake, man. So really great piece of technology, and excited to be partnered with those guys and going into the 2025 season. So, man, it's been a heck of a holiday season for us so far. We've all been like 3 ways to the wind and stuff like that. First and foremost, I mean, I'm not interviewing you guys here, but Pete, how was your holiday season, or your Thanksgiving stuff?
Yeah, Thanksgiving was pretty good, man. It was a heavy one. I lost a friend back in Pennsylvania. A good friend of mine left us too soon. He was 52 years old. Wife and a couple kids, rocking his hat. He owns the Archer's Edge. So if you're in Western Pennsylvania, go check out the shop that he built. They're going to keep his legacy alive. I worked there for quite a number of years as he was getting started. So, it was heavy, but I had a great time. Actually, Trey, you and your family came over to the house. We broke it in the first holiday meal, in the new home. So we had a good time, lots of laughs, drank a bunch of mimosas with what we had left of the champagne after Trey exploded 3/4 of the bottle onto the kitchen floor. Trey was popping bottles, and it was one of the funniest faces I've ever seen in my life. So the pure panic in his eyes when he realized what was happening, and then he sprayed my wife and his wife, and it was
my
good.
daughter.
Daughter, counter pies. It was awesome. No, we had a lot of fun. Getting that, and then I left immediately after the next morning and headed back up to PA for an unexpected trip. But I got to see my family, so that was, I guess, silver lining to that. Got to catch up with some friends I hadn't seen in a while. So outside of that, man, it was a good break. I ended up with a week off work, basically, with the time I had already planned to take. So it's always good to get some time away from the daily grind. I know, Ben, you and your wife stayed semi-local. You did something with some church family, right?
Yeah. Of course, Liz was able to come back for Thanksgiving, so she got in Wednesday morning. So just spent like the week or the weekend Thanksgiving with her. We did go up to Thanksgiving Sunday, Thursday night for there's probably like 15 people from church and different families there together. So 15, 20 people. So yeah, it was great food, right? Great fellowship. Ate way too much, but that's about this year. Delicious food. So yeah, no complaints. And then Friday started putting up some Christmas decorations, and then Saturday I did yard cleanup, all those pine needles. I was able to convince Liz to help put them in the bags, but out there, blowing all the pine needles. So did a little bit of work, but it was good. It was a good break.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, we I just thought of this, and we're not going to do it in this episode, but we need to do an episode on us. Like I don't think a lot of people know like a lot about us. Like we haven't really deep dived, no pun intended, into our lives, and we'll get to that. I definitely plan on doing that when I retire here next year. But same for me, man. Had a great holiday. I had a great Thanksgiving, and super thankful for everything that we've done with this show, how many doors it's opened for us, how many friends it's created, great networks and stuff like that. Enjoyed great meals with great friends. My wife is very picky about like the way that she eats. So she wanted to do her little internal Thanksgiving, which I was at Lake Gaston, like as I was talking about with Seth that day. And I ended up getting home a little too late, hitting that traffic coming out of Raleigh, which is notorious for backing up. Pete knows all about that.
Oh yeah.
And, got home and ate, and then we did dinner with you guys, and that was really funny with the champagne. And we tried to do some deer hunting and stuff. Pete was able to take a deer this year so far. I haven't seen a ton of deer.
I was going to ask.
I haven't seen a ton of deer And it kind of got to the point where I was like, man, let me just go fishing real quick, because like Ben said a long time ago, right, the way to get over a bad break with fishing is just catch a fish. And I felt like that was with hunting, I was just not seeing what I wanted to see. And so I was like, I just need to go catch a fish. Like Ben said, I need to get over this hump. So I think I'm going to get back out there in the woods, though. Was able to see a couple bobcats the other night. Saw some deer, but I think this year I'm being a little bit more picky on it's either got to be a really big one or a doe. But I also felt like our rut was really weird. Just bizarre this year.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, super, super weird. But, congratulations to Nick Kincaid, one of our good buddies here and with Carolina Waters and Special Operations Bass Anglers. And he harvested a really nice buck the other day. And I think
need another year, but it was all right.
Yeah, man.
I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm not one of those guys.
I
just messing with Nick.
And then we had a guy that's part of the lease, and it's really unfortunate for him. He ended up shooting a deer, and I don't know about all you guys, right? And for all you listening and stuff, like I've had it happen one time in my life. It's the only time it's ever happened, but it was the most gut wrenching feeling in the world to not be able to find a deer, especially because you don't know if they've expired or not, right? Unless you later on get them on camera or something like that. But we had a guy at the lease do that, and really nice deer, real beautiful deer. And gosh, man, I mean, I felt his pain. You know what I mean? So I don't know about you guys if that's ever happened to you before, but I'll tell you this, like, it's not a feeling I ever want to have again. Yeah. Especially with deer hunting.
It happens. And if it hasn't happened to you, you don't hunt enough. So
yeah,
one of them things.
Yep.
Pull a shot, deer turn, stuff happens. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, he was definitely not happy. I got a bunch of does coming right now, so I'm about to go mass feed them here and then go out there Saturday and probably whack one or two.
Are you watching them on camera right now?
My camera died, the one they were coming into, but I had them like four nights in a row right at like 30 minutes before dark. So,
well, and it was funny too, because like we had like four or five Moultrie cameras out there. And my wife got me one for Christmas. I just gave it to Pete to connect to his account because I'm not tech savvy, obviously. And there's really quality bucks like coming in, but they'd always come in the days you weren't there. Every single time. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, what? They know.
Like 10:30 Thanksgiving morning, I'm out in the driveway putting the turkey on the smoker, and there's this really, really nice 8-point I've been hunting just standing in front of my camera at 10:30 in the morning. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
He's like, enjoy your holiday, bud.
Mm-hmm. And sat there for 40 minutes, just hung around. I was like, good night.
Yeah, man. But yeah, dude. So yeah, guys. So this I mean, from your perspective, and anybody can start, what has been one of the most shocking things to you guys, or one of the most, I don't know, like unforeseen things with having this podcast that you guys have seen along the journey that we've had so far?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing that it's just the people we've met and connected with. And right, being able to interview and have on the show, but also keep those relationships afterwards. Who would have thought that you all be, especially Trey, you were talking to Brad all the time, or a lot from the NPFL, right, and the owners of that organization, and being kind of as connected as we have been with them. We've had a lot of their anglers on. And then too, I think the other thing is it's like, for the most part, everyone in this industry, they're pretty easy to talk to. You just go up to them, or, hey, you want to be on the show or something? Can we have on sometime? Probably 80% of the time, it's no problem whatsoever. You find a time that works. There's a couple of people who, right? I mean, that's anything, but just how down to earth so many people are in the fishing, bass fishing world is pretty awesome.
Yeah. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think I'm a lot on the same terms of Ben, just like how we knew like the community and the culture that we wanted to build when we started this thing, and the fact that it happened so fast, we have people driving down from out of state you know, hours upon hours to fish charity events and hang out and bringing their
Just coming to
friends now
expos
and
to hang out.
yeah, coming to expos to hang out, like driving multiple hours for one day just to visit us at an expo and man, it's just yeah, it kind of just culminates. Everything's worth it. It's not all easy. There's stress. Like we missed a week with an episode a few weeks back just because everything going on in life with all of us, and it stressed me out to no end. And Ben and Trey were kind of like, "Hey, man, it'll be okay," you know. So we've had a good balance of when things are kind of like we don't really know what's next. Everybody's able to help keep each other level headed.
And I'll say that we did mess with one, but what was we did 98 or 97 straight in a row.
97 straight, yeah.
So I mean that's a pretty good record because right, a lot of podcasts they take off a couple weeks here and there and stuff, right? It just a lot of times in this community and the fishing world, there's a lot less episodes and stuff going on this time of year.
Yeah.
Holidays and right. Deer season and things are starting, and we've been for the most part, with the exception of one, for going on 2 years now, almost 2 years straight of knocking them out. Or if sometimes we're not all there, sometimes we got to do it like we're kind of doing tonight virtually. Although this is the first one, I think as Trey said early on that we're all virtual.
I think it is.
I think we've done a couple of lives that way, Fishing Friday lives.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's either two of us in the room there. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I everything that you guys said, I agree with. One of the things that from a growth perspective that I've noticed about all of us, when we first started this thing, we had no idea what we were doing. I don't think anybody really does unless you got some producer that's coming in here and waving a wand at you and telling you how to orchestrate everything. And I think that's what's overwhelming for a lot of people is like that fear of the unknown. But we didn't let that stop us. And when it comes to like the way that we're I would say like the harmony, if you will, between the three of us. And then even in some of our guests, like we went from like writing stuff down to, trying to plan on a calendar, which we probably need to do a better job at that when it comes to scheduling, but it is what it is. But now we're just to the point where it's just like, we don't need to write anything down. We don't need to list out questions to ask somebody. We don't need to do this stuff. And I think we just flow a lot more naturally. And I think you see that, with our guests too, when we have them on, whether or not it's virtual or in studio and stuff, it's like, man, we don't have to sit here and, hey, what's your name? What's your last name? Whatever. So I think from internally, we've grown significantly. We'll probably do some technology updates and stuff like that. But I think what we have going is pretty cool. And then, and just like you guys said, man, like the people are everything. Right. Like that's what there wouldn't be a show without people. And so I'm super grateful that we've been able to tap into so many different networks and not only that, but like get feedback from people via phone call or a text message, be like, hey man, like I really learned a lot about, fishing bluff walls with a spinner bait, or I really learned about the, fish behavior from your biologist that you've had on, or whatever the case may be. So, and I think that's the other thing that I think our show does pretty cool is it's not all the tournament bass fishing focus. Primarily, a lot of it is, but we bring a pretty diverse crowd to the show, and I, we definitely need to keep that up. So, 2024, Ben, from 2024, what was one of your, I'm putting you on the spot here, but like, what was one of your favorite episodes that we did, or maybe trips that we took, or whatever the case may be?
So I think one of the favorite episodes is the one we had Seth in the first time when talking dock fishing and just the knowledge drop involved. That was really awesome. That was probably one of my favorite episodes we did. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that episode. a lot from that.
Yep.
And just as much as maybe our listeners and stuff are learning, like I'm telling you what, I know all of us in here are soaking up like juice information, you know, that helps us just become better anglers, not even from a competitive standpoint, but just better on the water in general. So that was definitely one of my top ones for sure. What about you, Pete? He's like, I can't remember.
I think my favorite one is yet to come. We've got one
yeah?
coming up here, pretty soon that I think might turn out to be my favorite one. But to this point this year, man, we've had some good ones. The Seth one was a really good one. Corbishley episode after he won his MPFL event was a lot of fun. Just hanging out and talking with him. Seth Myko got a ton of really good information with Seth came in, biologist. I thought the episode with our buddy Mike Johns was an impactful one.
Yeah.
And him getting his story on there and out there talking about starting FX3 and helping try to curb the veteran suicide epidemic.
You say that too. Another powerful one. And why am I drawing a blank on her name? Your friend,
Jackie.
Lily.
Jack.
Or Jackie.
Oh, Lily?
Yeah, Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jackie. That one we rolled, even though we had some audio issues. But yeah, I mean, we got some people's stories out there on, the true impacts of fishing and mental health and addiction healing and Lily coming on and sharing her story post her special operations time, and there's more of those to come.
Oh yeah.
For anybody that is listening, like, go back and listen to those if you need some hope. I know right now is a tough time for a lot of people. The holiday seasons always are. We're missing loved ones. We may be far away from loved ones and not able to get to see them. Just remember, you're not alone. Like, plenty of people you can call and talk to. You can message me. I know you can message Trey or Ben. You can message the podcast socials. You're definitely not alone. If you're anywhere near where I'm at, we can definitely get together and break bread. Like, I got no problem meeting anybody. So, but yeah, I think those episodes right now, if you're looking for some lift me up, just go back and check some of those episodes out where people talk about, the outdoors and how it impacted them and their mental health. I think Josh's was a really good one. Watkins, the second one. Yeah. Talking about the names on the side of his boats, why he's doing what he's doing, and the friends lost, and just another one of those stories about how fishing helps heal whatever it is we're facing. So someday we're gonna get our stories out there. I know fishing, played a big role in mine. I was thinking about it a lot today, and I want to share my story. There's gonna be, I know my mom and dad listen, and I'm sure I'll be getting a phone call when I go into some details about where my life was at one point. But, it is what it is. I think it's important to talk about that stuff and pulling out of it. So I hate to get serious here, but it is a rough time for a lot of people right now. The economy's still not great. You're trying to figure out how to pay for gifts for your kids. Like, just know there's hope and you got people to talk to is I guess the message I'm trying to say right now. But we've built that network now even greater through this podcast, through those episodes. So I know you asked for one episode, but there's been a lot this year that were super impactful for me.
I'm scrolling through right now all the episodes, like when we had Rick on, talk about the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
And him, getting out of Miami and everything he saw. And
of course, we had Ike and Ellie on after Pete went flying through the air down there.
Yeah, go check out Lee Livesey's YouTube video from Murray if you want to see me a couple hours after that happened and tell the story. He did a great job of editing that. Lee, if you somehow hear this, your editor's a man, because there were several F-bombs thrown when we were telling that story, and he made it seamlessly clip out of there like it was never even said. So
I'm not gonna lie, the only thing I noticed about that, because I watched that last night. Lee Livesey's YouTube series is phenomenal. They do a great job. Him and Logan Latuso and Caleb Summerall and their camera guys, great. But the one thing I noticed when you walked up on camera, Pete, was your fresh haircut. Like, you were so fresh. Like, you had fresh trimmed beard, fresh haircut, only to get whipped out of Ike and Ellie's boat. And I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, I was literally on the lake when you were talking on the camera. Actually, after that, I got off the lake. But yeah, and that's one of the things. Going back to all the episodes with Rick and Jackie and Lily and Josh, and you named them all. Maybe outside of the our biologist buddies that we've had on, even Black Ops Tackle, what they do for the Fisher House and stuff like that. We never intended for the show to go down the route of like fishing as a healing opportunity or the outdoors and stuff, but we did. We just naturally we went down that route, and I think and I think all the podcasts do a great job, but really everything ties back to like mental resiliency, man. Like a lot of the messages, if you were to like dissect it, the messages in a lot of our episodes outside of just talking tournament fishing and bass behavior and lures and stuff like that is like, how do you navigate through this like roller coaster of emotions? And so I think we've done a really good job at that. And I know it's impacted people, but we got a lot of feedback from Mike Johns with FX3. We got a ton of feedback on that episode.
And we did.
And while Jackie's audio, it was our fault. It wasn't her fault.
Her audio was great.
Her audio. Yeah. Our audio was trash. Her story, was the epitome of being able to take a bad situation and turn it into an opportunity of success. You know what I mean? So, this isn't a self-licking ice cream cone here by any means, like patting ourselves on the back, but
hey man, I've always said it's a piss poor dog that doesn't wag its own tail. Like every once in a while you got to give yourself
wag
a little credit,
Yeah.
And I feel like we deserve that. I'm not saying we're the greatest, but I think we found some niche stuff.
Yeah.
Niche, however you say that word, NICHE, but it's like, is it cache or is it cash? I don't know which one it is, but I think we found, something, and we're going to do more of it. We've got other folks that we plan on coming on. I know I want to share my story. I know at some point in time, Trey wants to share his, and I think it's important to be able to talk fishing, but then to also help as many people as we can, part of that community we've tried to build. So,
that's something I don't know. I don't think we've really over the last 2 years really done like a lot of fishing talk. You know what I'm saying?
Not a ton, yeah.
We talk about tournaments, we talk about our experience out there, but we haven't done a lot of super detailed, like maybe I would say technical fishing stuff. So
sure,
so like getting super specific on certain conditions and certain baits and certain types of water. I know we've talked about having like guys on and talk, and we did a little bit, I guess, with Harvey that time about rods and the type of rods you want.
And we brought Destin on to talk smallmouth stuff,
Yeah.
But I think what we're doing right now, folks listening, is we're generating ideas and goals for 2025. And we have Fishing Friday Live, but let's be honest, a lot of times that can be inconsistent due to several factors, including tournament angler meetings that we have and
families
and families and stuff like that.
All that.
So a lot of times, Ben, we reserved a lot of fishing stuff for Fishing Friday Live, but maybe, in 2025, we can move into our episodes or our recorded episodes are maybe focused, not only on the mental resiliency aspect, but getting a little bit more technical now that we have those networks established, especially with anglers that we know are very savvy in a certain body of water or conditions or with a certain technique. Maybe we can bring that to the audience in 2025.
Yeah, if they'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The jig is up. Like there's, there's still secrets and stuff like that. But, I think everybody, that motto that we have of building that culture of anglers, helping anglers. I think most of our guests, I don't know if anyone really held back. Like they'd done a really good job at informing everybody, whether or not it's, clipping off a little bit of that screw lock to get that extra hook up on a shaky head, or how to, use a certain bait for smallmouth fishing, hair jigs and stuff.
That person actually didn't say that one on the air.
Oh, I did. So I think that was the episode we had with Jesse Wise, and we were talking.
Oh, even threw his name out there.
I'm throwing him out there. It's fine. He's got the NPFL's largest bass ever caught, and it was in a championship, and it was on live, so he's fine. He'll be all right. So, be all right. But yeah, I mean,
Trey will get another text message. It'll be fun.
And for those that we have on the show, we appreciate you guys listening to the show too. We know a lot of people will come on the show, they won't listen or whatever, and that's totally fine because it's your right to not listen to the show. But for those who do listen to it after the fact, I know Cole Harris is going to listen to that show for sure. Because he was really excited about it, talking the D team and stuff like that and his journey through this. So we really appreciate, everybody listening to the show that comes on the show. So, but yeah, what I wanted to ask you guys this, right? So we're talking about like successes and your favorites and this and that and the other, but Pete, from your perspective, like what has been, if you were to say one of the most challenging things since we've started this show, what is the most challenging thing that you can think of?
Your internet.
Don't say my internet.
No, I'm just playing. Man, it's probably the most challenging thing is just scheduling. Like,
yes,
trying to get guests lined up, and everybody's so busy. Not just them, but this isn't our full-time job, so we've got to line our evening schedules for when we're out of work or whatever. Like tonight, for instance, I'm here because I had a meeting run over late at work. So like I wouldn't have got there till late, and we record for an hour. And by the time I get home, it's 10 o'clock. So we decided to do it this way just to save everybody a little bit of a trip. But, trying to lock these anglers down, is probably the hardest, most challenging thing, because if it's during the season, they're super busy. Once the season ends, they want to hunt and relax, and then show season rolls right before their tournament season starts again. So they're on the road a bunch again. So it can be hard to kind of schedule. It can be a little frustrating. And, so for me, that's probably been our biggest challenge, the biggest challenge that we faced.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our biggest challenge it's really been the last couple of months too, because we all look around and we're like, what's going on in the fishing world right now? And there's really nothing going on. After, all the changes and stuff, I feel like last year there was so much news coming out all through the fall with the BPT changes, the open changes, and just all sorts of stuff. And that continued to drip out, it seemed like. But this year there hasn't been, I don't think, as much as that.
No, there was like a huge dump with the forward-facing sonar stuff, all kind of at the same time. And then I guess the opens kind of changed, but that was all relatively short window. Like you said, last year I felt like everything sort of drug out. We didn't have anybody shoving weights and fish to talk about this year.
That's true.
There hadn't been any real crazy drama outside of the normal stuff.
Yeah, this year, last year there was so much cheating scandals and disqualifications for various reasons. Not nearly as much of that this year.
I forgot about all the pro DQs and stuff last year too. Yeah.
And that Cayuga event too, that still lives in infamy. But
that's why BPT will never do a small mouse fun event again.
Yeah, but the big drama this year that was all through the year when it got tiring, we just quit talking about, was the forward-facing sonar argument.
Yeah,
and all these people complaining. We'll see now that NPFL is banded, Bass is basically the same, and then BPT. Sometimes right. It'll be interesting to see what the kind of the drama is, or the feedback, public feedback is next year with it. But hopefully, I haven't seen as much negative talk about forward facing after they made those changes. They basically each league went a different way, so people can watch what they watch. But then at the same time, most of the tournament season's over, so people aren't watching it. So like, it's not in their face right now. So
yeah,
I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging to schedule people, hands down. Do you I think one of the other challenging things is as much as we try to stay away from certain topics such as the drama you guys had mentioned and stuff, it's a hard thing to do. And it does become mentally exhausting. And then from a physical from a physical point of view, it does become exhausting, especially when you're fishing tournaments and you have a family and you have a full-time job. Like from a physical standpoint, like I was burned out for the first, probably 4 months this year between fishing and working and you guys working and fishing and trying to schedule guests. And like, it really is a challenge. Maybe the message here for anybody that, and I feel like we've done one of the things that I'm super happy about this show is the fact that there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Right. Like 3 people, owning a show like this and being able to divide and conquer and fill in when somebody's absent or whatever, is definitely a positive, because the guys that do it by themselves, like I give them a lot of kudos, man, especially if they're, like Duncan rolls by himself, Mercer rolls by himself and stuff like that. And a lot of the other guys do too, but I can't imagine doing this by myself. It would be exhausting.
I mean, talking about being burned out and stuff, I definitely feel that. I mean, I didn't get a fish very much this last year. Well, wanting to, running the OneCast and all the jigs and plastics and all that stuff. But obviously, since the summertime, every month or two, I'm traveling back and forth to different states. And so, I mean, like my content creation for the lure business has taken a nosedive this last year too. And so hopefully that would, change in 2025. That's part of the reason why I plan on taking that trip down to Florida, because that'd be a 10 days or 2 weeks of just getting out, going fishing, getting warm weather, making content and stuff, and kind of be able to reset and rejuvenate. Because, I think we all agree, and that's what we talk about, how fishing helps set us, and we enjoy being out in the water and connects us. And for me, it's just I haven't got to do that nearly as much as I'd like. So,
do you guys think tournament fishing helps you reset though?
No, not for me. Like, I'm too competitive with it. I want to do well. I mean, heck, even like there is something to be said. Like if I'm going out with all the GoPros and stuff with the intent of making content and doing things, even if I'm out there just fishing, like when I used to do YouTube videos and I catch them whatever I catch them on, and you can tell that story. But like, there is an element that you go out there, you want to be able to catch enough fish that, put a good video out and something. So there have been times, and some of the best days I had, not this year, but the previous year, I just didn't take the cameras out. And that's when I ended up catching the most fish and the best fish. I mean, that's when I caught like 4 6-pounders in a 2.5 hour period out behind my house. Like, I didn't even grab the camera. So
and Pete said that before the show started, that we didn't do any recording this year in any of the tournaments or really even the fun fishing events. And that's something we gotta do better at. We want to do better at. A lot of anglers have their superstitions, whether or not it's you got to burn the first cast or don't bring a banana in the boat or wear the same Grundy underwear that you fished with last time. But for me, it's a camera. I don't know what it is, but the camera to me is just, I don't know.
Be a camera shot.
Yeah.
Camera. Well, look, there is difference. Like if you guys are just recording out your tournament, you're doing your normal thing, you catch them or you don't. Right, you can kind of talk about that through it. Kind of like I used to do all those old YouTube videos, right? I used to love catching them on, the jigs. I used to the old school jigs and stuff. But if I was catching them on anything else or crankbait or whatever, like I tell people what I'm doing and stuff. It is definitely added pressure when you go out there, like specifically, like I need to catch fish on one of these products so I can, make videos and stuff about it. And that's not what the fish want. And so that does raise your blood pressure a little bit because they don't quite cooperate. But but yeah, but tournament fishing for sure, like, it's not nearly as relaxing as just going out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
And
think?
that
Same
includes
thing, Pete?
practices too, right? That's include practicing. You go
Yeah.
out before a tournament, 3 or 4 days, or how many days you pre-practice, or the weekend before if you're doing a club, and you're out there from daylight to dark trying to, get a good pattern or something together, and you're focusing on the event that's coming up, and so it's just it's not as carefree, I would say.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your mind is focused on winning. It's not focused on relaxing.
Mhm.
It's focusing on figuring something out to win rather than like, yep, I'm just going to cast a line and whatever happens. You're like, no, that's not acceptable. So,
Yep.
but yeah, man. So, I guess my last question to you guys, since I'm conducting this interview, is Pete, what are you looking forward to most in 2025?
Related to the podcast?
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough question. I think just continuing to grow and see like where we head this year. Like we've sort of evolved from what we started year 1, year 2. We've found a few things that work, some things that haven't. We have plans of kind of what we want to do year 3. So I'm just kind of excited to continue the growth and evolution of the show. I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's, and I think we'll all talk about it probably the next month or two, but like, kind of like the way forward, like how do we, what do we want to focus on? What do we want to do to try to engage and capture the audience, to give them what they, because ultimately it's everyone who's listening. I mean, grant, I think we'd still be doing it if no one listens, because we just enjoy talking fishing anyways, and we like talking fishing to folks. But we do have a little bit of an audience, and hopefully we can continue to provide valuable information or content for them. And it's just trying to figure out, I guess, the way to improve our Foxo, just continue to get better.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
go ahead, Ben.
So some of that may be like improving some technology, maybe some systems to streamline some things. Maybe it's, I think we all want to try to do more podcasts, maybe at tournaments, or go to more tournaments. I know you guys are going down to Murray here at the end of next week. But I know we talked about maybe going over when they're going to the rivers here in North Carolina.
Yep.
I think someone's coming to Murray again, or Santee Cooper too.
Yep.
So I mean, there's enough places around here that's relatively close that we get to do it. Unfortunately,
going to Norman, like Although I think we have a derby that weekend, so we wouldn't be able to go.
Oh yeah.
I think we already looked at that, but
it's almost like, do you gotta quit tournament fishing?
Not yet. Maybe one day, but it's I still have too much fun.
Fortunately, what the Fishers have meant for you all, like it's a pretty early schedule. You guys are done pretty early in the year, so that frees up a lot.
Oh, I'm definitely grateful for that. Like, I got a lot of people, I'm sure they've asked you guys too. It's like, hey, do you, when you retire, do you plan on, going and fishing or trying to get into this or do this? And the answer is no right now. Like, I don't, our schedule is so packed with what we just do normally. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to, pony up, 30 to 50, 60 grand to go try to do something else. Like, it's just not, to me, it's not where my headspace is at. But I will tell you that the MPFL and the Elite Series made it a little bit better for us in 2025, which you guys talked about. I'm looking forward to that, bringing some of these tournaments pretty close to our backyard, which will give us, potentially access to more people to talk to. And really, this conversation right here is a challenge for those listening to us right now. We've we ask you guys to go on there, leave us reviews, leave us comments, provide feedback and stuff like that. Please do that. We're always looking for new ideas. It does become challenging, as Pete and Ben mentioned, when it comes to scheduling people, thinking of topics to talk about and stuff like that, because, you sometimes get into that group think mentality where you're just having a hard time figuring out like creative and imaginative ways to do other things. So if you got ideas, got guest ideas and topic ideas and things like that, message them to us, because we read everything that everybody sends to us, and go on to our Facebook community page and, fill out that information to join, because we want to continue growing that. That's grown exponentially since we started that deal. I think we're up to over 5,000 people on that right now, which is pretty awesome. And then, the thing that I'm looking forward to in 2025 is exactly what has happened over the last 2 years. It seems like every year, we get a new company that we believe in that's interested in promoting with us, and helping them build their brand. And we have done a really good job, I think, of not promoting anybody that we don't believe in, because we have been approached by people. So we're not just going to take anybody's service or product that is out there. If we don't believe in it and we don't use it, we're not going to do you the disservice of taking your money and promoting a product we don't believe in. So I'm looking forward to that. Where 2025 goes, no one knows, but I think it's going to open more doors for potential partners and more friends and stuff like that. So I'm really excited, man. And I'm going to be retired. So, just got to throw that out there. So,
yeah.
But yeah. What else do we got?
I had just pulled up the schedules for Bassmaster and NPFL next year. Yeah, they've NPFL's at Santee and Norman. Yeah. And then the championship's going to be down in Hartwell. So that's all those are like.
Yeah.
Brad and Paul, are you guys coming here because of us?
That's
And then Bassmaster's at where are they? Hartwell in April, and then over here in April too.
Yeah. Stay off Murray in April, Bassmaster. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to Murray at all. But,
no, I'm just joking. Yeah.
But they're actually because I was looking at, I feel like they're kind of starting later this year.
Are they?
I mean, maybe not. They're going to St. John's the February 20th to 23rd. I was going to see about time and maybe my fishing trip around when they were going down there to Okeechobee, right, to steal their spots. Monday after. But I think it's a little bit too late. I don't know if
Okeechobee Recon, Ben, do it. You don't own the water, bro. Oh man, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2025. You guys got anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up?
I don't have anything, man. I just appreciate you guys, and appreciate all those companies Trey talked about. I've been sitting here thinking about everything, and we definitely couldn't do it without them. It takes a village to do something like this. Like Trey was talking about, he doesn't know how one person can kind of solo these things, and I don't know that you can without support from listeners and partner companies. We have a new one we'll be announcing in January. Excited to have them come on, because they're making a year commitment to the show, and we're going to do our best to help them grow their business, and somebody we believe in, doing something we believe in. So like Trey said, we never been forced to just take a deal to promote somebody because we felt like we needed the money. It's not about the money, but we haven't felt the need to do that, nor have we wanted to. There's a lot of podcasts you listen to, and even some of the bigger ones that you'll hear an ad and you're like, does that guy really like
Athletic Greens?
I'm not trying to like mash anybody, but Joe Rogan, I was listening today, and he did an advertisement for those leaf things that you put on your gutters. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
Maybe
that
he
was one of
loves gutter
those
guards, bro.
Yeah, that was probably one of those ads that like Spotify emailed him like, "Hey, do a 30-second clip and we'll pay you this much money."
I mean,
maybe we would at some point if we were Joe Rogan, but I appreciate that
that's
everything.
like hey, when you get to that level, obviously it's kind of like the TV ads, right? These companies just do massive ad buys, and instead of they're doing a commercial,
I like only talking about stuff we actually use and believe in, and I think it. I don't know. Personally, if I promoted something and somebody used it and it was crap, then I would feel personally responsible, if that makes sense.
That's true.
So for me, I'm not saying I wouldn't when you get to that size, because like you said, if somebody's like, "Hey, read this 30-second ad in one episode and we'll give you $10,000," it'd be pretty hard to say no to that. But at the same time, that's not what we've built. And I hope we don't ever act that way. If we
I'll tell you this,
size, you know what I mean? I hope we're able to always kind of pick and choose who we do those deals with and promote companies that we care about and use the product. That's a tough thing.
Don't get me wrong. Would I love this show to be as big as Rogan's? Absolutely. Yeah. But the benefit of having the show the way it is you do have a personal connection with a lot of the people that you're with, your followers, your partners, and stuff like that. I will say, we lost not to anything bad, but we lost Eric Schwinn and Wasio Properties this year. We really appreciated doing marketing and promoting his service with Mossy Oak. Hey man, financial times, it's a tough economy. Totally understand it. Right. We don't have any formal affiliation with Black's Tire and Auto, but they've been super supportive. Right here, the Sanford location, North Carolina, they've been super supportive, from taking care of, Mike Johns when he drove up here from Florida to fish with us or fish a Lake Champlain event, getting him squared away with his tires, giving out free oil changes for the nonprofit events with Take a Warrior Fishing. They've been really supportive too. And there's no formal like contract with them, but they've been a great friend of ours, and who knows where that'll go in the future. And then obviously all of our others, Carolina Waters, Hobie, Deep Dive, OneCast Fishing, so I'm super grateful for that. That's why I say 2025, who knows what's in store.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue doing what we're doing and bringing good product to market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, any boat manufacturers looking to give out free boats to a mediocre podcast, holler at your boy.
I mean, they've got so many sitting there that need to be sold right now. They need to get rid of them and write them off. I mean, like
that's right.
Oh man!
No, and the only other thing I want to say is, I guess news. I do want to talk a little bit of current event stuff. Like John Cox left Crestliner, who he's been with forever.
Yeah,
went over to Vexus. I'm sure a big part of that's they announced their new. I think they called it the 2100.
Yep.
But yeah, I assume he's gonna run the aluminum.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna run that new 20. It's 20-foot 8-inch with a 250. I'm sure that's what he's going to run. So that, we got that news. Humminbird has 2 new products coming out, which is a new graph series. They have not officially announced in the US yet, but some people went to the big trade show that is in Europe and leaked it. So everybody sort of knows what's coming. So they have a new series of graphs, and then Mega Live 2, which I'm not going to say who, but I've spoke to some folks that, are on staff with them and have been testing it for quite a while, and it is apparently going to give the 34 a little bit of a challenge and active target 2 and kind of bring them up to that level. So we'll see when it's actually released and out there. Take people's words that are paid to use a product with a grain of salt, but always good to see new tech coming out, and I'm sure there'll be more to talk about.
I think I'm glad you brought that up, Pete, because, that episode that we did, when Ben went down to ICAST, it really wasn't that great this year from a new tech perspective. I think Ben wasn't. I mean, Ben, you can speak on it, but you weren't.
There wasn't a lot of new stuff out.
Yeah.
And then again, I think and what Pete was talking about for Humminbird, I just looked it up. It looks like the Helix and Solixes will be discontinued in 2025 at some point. They're being replaced by some other line that was leaked. But there just wasn't a lot of technology wise. But we've kind of got over the forward facing sonar wars. Everyone's got their own. Everyone's got their own trolling motor now. Shallow water anchors, the same thing. So, I mean, we'll see what the next steps for technology will be. But
the next debacle is going to be the backwards facing sonar. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the drama is this year.
The upside down facing sonar.
Yeah, what is going to be the divisive topic of
it's going to be
2025?
It's going to be these graphs are going to be able to launch mini drones out. They're going to be able to go and scout the water for you and then come back and give you it's just like the Apache system. They're going to be able to do target acquisition. So that'd be pretty cool. Actually, I'd rock that, you know. Hey, for 2025, are you guys doing any? So I'll say I'm not getting rid of my boat, but I did upgrade my my graphs to Lowrance HDS Pros in an active target 2. I'm still going to run my aluminum boat with my power poles and be as basic as pretty basic. Are you guys changing anything out the way you operate for next year? Oh, I also bought a ton of different tackle storage. I didn't go with any fishing companies. I went to Harbor Freight and bought $7.50 boxes to replace all my current OG Flambeau stuff. So I'm going to be switching out electronics and changing my my SOP in my boat for tackle storage and hopefully streamline that to be a little bit more specific for bodies of water and tournament conditions I fish. What about you guys?
Well, I'm trying to convince someone to let me get a second power pole or maybe get 2 8-foot poles.
You should get one Talon.
one Talon, one power pole.
So if anyone's got any hookups with some power pole folks, let me know. But yeah, I'd like to maybe switch out maybe a second pole. Really, because when you're shallow water fishing and spawn fishing, like one pole works, but you get blown around too much. It doesn't.
You spin around in a circle.
Yeah. That, and then I'll probably keep all my graphs. Everything is saying I might have to end up actually getting another display unit for one of my Humminbirds because it just keeps cutting out and not working right. And it's not the connections, and because the other screen that's connected to everything is fine. So yeah, but that's about it, I think.
And Pete, you already did some downgrading this year, right?
No, I didn't really downgrade. I mean,
you got rid of that turret that was on your deal.
Oh yeah, I got rid of the turret, which was super nice, but as I got better with forward facing sonar, it makes it tough. Yeah, I don't really have any plans. I may sell my Talons and go to power poles strictly for contingency money. I really like my Talons, but
yes,
I mean, at this point, as you tournament fish, you've got to try to make any money that you can, and there's extra money to be made there. And we left some on the table last year by not either having poles or not being registered for that program. So,
how much you gonna sell them poles for?
Talons, I'll make you a deal, man.
Hey, this is important though. Like, the three of us here, we're running different technologies, some similar. I bought my graphs from Seth in my active target too. And that's a way for all of you guys listening to, the network of people that you're around, like you can really help save each other money, by, selling each other back and forth product and stuff like that. I know I'm a huge fan of, when I get in Pete's boat or Ben's boat or any of these other guys' boat, like I'm always looking for new ideas to streamline. And, fishing's expensive, man, especially tournament fishing. It's so expensive. And like Pete said, we left a lot on the table. So if you're tournament fishing, and you are in an organization that's affiliated with certain pieces of gears, like contingency money, such as Power Pole, Mercury, your boat manufacturer, your truck manufacturer, things like that. TH Marine, I know, has it. You can register for that if you're in a tournament organization that they, I guess, have, I don't know, an agreement with or whatever. Right. So don't leave that money on the table like we did, because we probably would have came out at least $5,000 richer from this tournament season, which we made some good money, which I was very fortunate with. But you don't really make any money. You spend
I didn't make anything.
Yeah. So, I had to put a new alternator on the boat this year. That cost me some change and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to 2025, having some great shows, some great fishing content, going to some of the shows. If you guys are in the Raleigh, North Carolina area in January, the Raleigh Fishing and Saltwater, or Raleigh, whatever it is, the
like Bass and Saltwater
Fishing Expo is going on. I think the Army Outdoor team is going to try to come here from Fort Knox and set up a booth there, if I'm not mistaken. Carolina Water is going to be there. OneCast Fishing is going to be there. So come there and see us. Raleigh, I can't remember the dates.
That's what I'm trying to look at.
Like 12th, 13th, whatever.
10th through 12th this year.
10th through the 12th. So come there and check us out. And then we'll probably be bouncing around some other areas. We're definitely going to be at some MPFL events. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again. I'm also looking forward to the annual Special Operations Bass Anglers Tournament on Lake Norman the Friday before Veterans Day. So that'll happen again next year. So, David Fuchs, his family, and Lisa and his wife, or Lisa and Ed came down. Mike came up. Like, I'm looking forward to that. Man, I'm super excited. I know it's not even the end of the year yet, but we got Christmas coming up and New Year's and stuff like that. So it's going to be that holiday, like, fluid, time of the year. And we might not get everybody in the same room depending on where you guys go for holidays and stuff like that. So, that's all I got, man, for this episode. What do you guys got?
That's it. I ain't got nothing.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for jumping on the OneCast. No, it's been fun, man. And I'll tell you this, like, if all you guys are, listening, thinking about starting a podcast, or you already have one, or you're in a business with friends listening, like, you guys are never going to agree 100% of the time. You never should agree 100% of the time. You're going to have scuffles and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, separate business, from emotion, and continue on mission. And, I appreciate both Ben and Pete for creating this journey for all of us to move into 2025 and beyond. And you know what, we're going to continue growing a culture of anglers helping anglers, one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.